You know what? We might as well just have it be tradition that I forget to put my face on at the beginning of every stream. Hello! Oh my god. Here I was sitting, thinking that I had everything all set. Now I've upset my cat. He's mad that I forgot my face. Oh, happy Monday. I suppose. We'll see how this stream goes. Like I said over the weekend, I'm starting to do more streams, and because I enjoy torturing myself, I'm just gonna have it where I do 4 days in a row on top of everything that I do throughout the week. Ah, water, delicious. And let's move this. There we go. And yeah, we'll just see how that stuff goes. But yeah, how is everybody? What's your plans for the week? I'd like to know, because I don't have any new plans. Just gonna be doing what I always do. My goal, though, is to, one, set up streaming on Instagram, because I can do that now. Apparently, I've been able to do that for a while. Just didn't realize it. So, yeah, gonna work on that, and I should probably just give myself one other thing to set up to do for the week. Because every time I'm like, oh, I'm going to do these things and that thing and those other things, and then none of it happens. So we're going to scale it back a little bit and see if that's more feasible. So yeah, the Instagram thing, which shouldn't be too difficult. I just need to make a new profile on my OBS. And then set that stuff up. I think. Should be that way. And once I do that, I might do one stream a week on Instagram. Mainly it's just like a tester for a little while. We'll see how that goes. And then the other thing, I either need to make or get started making one of two things. I either need to make my new PNG rig thing, because I'm going to switch from using PNG Tuber Plus. That song for me, the song right now for me is like really loud, so I don't know how different that is for you guys. Hopefully it's not drowning me out. It shouldn't, based on what OBS is telling me. Anyway, so but yeah, I'm gonna be switching from PNG Tuber Plus, which is still a great program, especially for people wanting to start off. I think it's pretty good. It's very easy to understand. I didn't even watch any tutorials or anything. I just kind of looked at the like in-program kind of stuff. But I'm switching over to, I think it's called PNG Tuber Remix or something like that. Seems like it has a lot more controls and stuff. So I'm probably gonna make a new PNG and then go with that. See what I can do with that. So I need to pick one of those two things and at least get started on that. But creatively speaking, that's the goal. Naturally, I want to continue work on the novella, which progress has slowed significantly. I think most things that I've been doing have slowed significantly over the past few weeks because I have just been so freaking tired. It does not help with the fibro because fibro just makes you fatigue all the time, or at least more fatigued. And then pain hits, and then I've been dealing with this bug issue at the house, which I think we finally found the source. So I took care of that today. So hopefully by this time next week, I will not have to deal with bugs anymore. And it was stupid that it was even a thing, and I should have been able to get that taken care of, but I didn't think about it. But now, I can think about it. So hopefully, never run into this issue again. Though, if anybody is curious about how to deal with things like flies, fruit flies, gnats, stuff like that, apparently, if you just get a dish or a bowl or Tupperware or something, and just put a bunch of apple cider vinegar in there and dish soap, that's a good catcher, which is also significantly cheaper than pretty much getting any of those like trappers or whatever. Because I bought those like apple shaped ones, cost me like $15 for 4, and I mean they work pretty well. But like for a big old thing of apple cider vinegar and a big old thing of soap, you can get for not even $10. Like probably you can do that for $5 or less. Especially if you get the soap from like Dollar Tree or something like that. So I thought you would need like a bunch of things that I didn't have, but no, because I tried to go get on that apple cider vinegar drinking kick. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to do that, and I'm able to tolerate a lot. But man, it don't matter how much water you mix with that and what flavoring things you do. You pretty much only taste that. So it's kind of gross. Hey, IHOP. We're doing okay. I got up this morning, didn't do much of anything. Mostly was just kind of out of it for the most part. Did my daily routine though of taking my pills and everything, and then went over and did some stuff with the book business. Mainly I processed a bunch, like 9 boxes of books. And by processing, I mean I already did one part of the process, which is sorting them. So I spent several hours a few days ago just taking books out of boxes to put them into other boxes, but the books are more similar in those boxes. It's essentially what I did. And then today I went through and I tagged them, which basically my dad prints these sheets of like stickers. Yeah, boxes to boxes, exactly. My dad's prints these sheets of stickers, and we just peel them off, and they have our booth number and the price of what the book will be, and then like a blank space. So put those on there, and then I wrote down what genre they fall under, and then I put them into a box. We do a little bit more sorting, like more refined sorting at that phase, because of two things. One, I'm separating novels from all the other books, because novels, I would rather have just boxes of novels that I can just take over to the novel section and just shove onto the shelf. Everything else, like, I tend to not need as much space, so we can just have them mixed in with everything else. And then biographies are separate, because we have so many biographies that are just not selling, that I'm like, okay, we're going to put these to the side until we actually sell some, and then we'll put these out. But we keep on taking boxes of biographies to the different booths, and then we take them back home because we can't put them anywhere. But then everything else just kind of gets shoved into the same box. But I did 9 boxes, which means I processed, I put stickers on and labeled and then set aside. 200 to 300 books. Probably 200 books, I think is more accurate. So I did that for like 2.5 hours or something like that. And then I ran out of stickers, so I was like, this is probably a good point to stop. And then, because like I did some other things, moved some stuff around before that, and I was like, you know what, this is enough for us to take to one of our booths tomorrow, which is what we're going to be doing. And my dad will probably process a box or two of some books, and it'll be fine. We'll be Gucci then. So not too much of a issue. So yeah. A really cool thing that happened though, as I was going through these books, I came across this one book that just seemed really old, and I was like, And it was in a foreign language that I'm not exactly sure which. Definitely like Eastern European. But I was like, you know what? I want to check this book before I put a $5 price tag on this. I want to check this book because it's a book of a collection of poems by some, I guess, famous poet during the 1840s. Like the first one was, I think, 1841, and the last one was 1848. So, and like, it was the cover was different than most books and everything. So I was like, I'm gonna look this up. Boy, am I glad I did. It's a $300 book. And that's the price we're putting. That's below everyone else who's selling that. So, yeah. Boy, am I glad I checked that book. Now, I hope somebody buys it. Because that's the problem with doing this kind of work, is that you can do a lot of work and get practically nothing for it. It's kind of similar to streaming. Like, because like streaming, the streaming part itself is easy, really. If you want to do it right, it can be quite a difficult job, because it's not just the streaming part, but it's the preparation part. It's the like having, basically you have multiple jobs when doing this job, and like that can be difficult, and in the sense of it can be difficult to get anything out of it. The job itself, not really that tough. I would say this is way easier than working as a merchandiser. This is easier than working as a delivery driver for like pizza delivery. I've had plenty of jobs that are way more difficult than this job. But what makes it hard is trying to be successful at it. That's when it's hard. So, I only kind of went down that rabbit hole because I've just been recently seeing a lot of things about is being a streamer really such a difficult job and all that stuff. And yeah, it just depends on what exactly the end goal is. Like, to make money, all other jobs are hella easier to do than to stream or content creation or whatever, because all you have to do is go to work, do your job, and go home, and after a bit, money shows up. Like, whereas with this, like, you gotta be on top of everything. You gotta do the streams or do the content creation, and then you gotta share that, and then you gotta do it strategically, and you gotta do it in certain ways, and you have to make sure that you have already spent the time to build a community if you want it to be, in order to make it successful and all that stuff. And then you might get a paycheck if enough people give a crap about it. But that's really the only way that it's harder. That's the only way, really. As someone who's been doing this for about 15 years and has not been successful, yeah, that's the part that's difficult. Everything else is easy. Trying to get these flies. So, yeah. Trying to think of if there is anything else to really talk about. But I can't really think of anything else to talk about. So we should probably get to the drawing. So get this all situated real quick. But yeah, what's everybody gonna be doing this week? I would love to know. We go over here. All right, we're all good. So yeah. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, we did not do pretty much anything. I really got to yapping, which is fine, I guess. Oh wait, where is my reference? Here it is. There we go. That's better. I had to zoom in, and again, I cannot have the reference on the screen because censor bots might have a connection. So I gotta do it like this, which I don't really want to do it like this, but this is how I have to. Oh, wispy hair. Wisp, wisp, wisp. I should probably be doing it more like this. Well, first off, wait, nope, wrong one. No. What? Why didn't... Okay. Don't mind me just being an idiot. Maybe we're going a little bit too far. What? Goddamn. There. Let's squish this a bit. Because we gotta see their face. It's very important. Something like that. Want to make sure that some people know I'm streaming because they said they want to come to stream. I actually do wonder if somebody's going to get upset about this drawing. Of course, I wonder that with a lot of my drawings, and then nobody gives a shit. So, I should probably just assume that. But, I don't know. I've been on the internet too much. I've seen people get upset over insane things. It's still like the way that the muscles and stuff looks really weird to me, and I am willing to bet that it's more of a like I don't have a great understanding of anatomy and stuff like that. Like I'm totally willing to admit that. Is my anatomy terrible? No. Is it good? I'd say so. Is it great? I wouldn't go crazy like that. Although, am I making God more shredded? Yes. I like mousses. My anime kind of sucks. Based it all entirely on DBZ instead of studying actual anatomy. I mean, that can be a decent start. Because the anatomy in Dragon Ball Z is not like atrocious or anything, but you do need to expand from there. Like it can help you get a somewhat understanding. Do not base hairline and foreheads off of it though, because they go absolutely insane in DBZ. So don't do that. But the rest of it, not terrible. Like I said, it's a good starting point. This part here kind of makes it look like he was painting the shirt, the robe, and when he was doing the arm, he forgot that that's still the robe because there's like no creases. It's all just like essentially anatomy, but it's the color of the robe. That's what it looks like to me. So I'm going to just be adding my and the main reason why I feel that way is that the sleeve like goes all the way to behind this character's head. But again, there's like no wrinkles or anything. So there's like not even any of that. So I don't know. That's what it just looks like to me. Odds are there's something I'm not getting. But I don't know, it just seems like an interesting observation to me. I can't really go up. Trying to be at least somewhat close to the original. I mean, as close to it as we can be, considering the revisions we're doing. But yeah, it just looks weird to me. I think I made this way too much. And I've decided that I'm not going to be doing this as like a painting. I really, as much as I love this idea, I don't want to spend that much time on it. This is already going to take me like a few dozen hours. I really don't want to put like 100 hours into this. Why? It's a stupid idea. It's just a fun little thing that I wanted to do, but I also kind of want to push myself a little bit with it. And, I mean, trying to, like, lightly imitate the masters, why not? Not sure what's going on here. Like there's... Like it's almost like it's kind of like a belt or something going on here. Like a rope type of belt. But it's like a crease. But there's creases going through it. I don't know. What do I know? Is a church asking me to do art for them? No. I don't think they would want me to do art for them anyway. Even if I was freaking amazing. Which there's one point that I've seen a couple people point out. With when it comes to the question of what would be lost if there was no religion, and one thing that one argument I've seen is that we would lose the arts. It's like, I don't think that's true. Like, yeah, we wouldn't have something like this, but we would still have arts, because art is an expression of humanity. So if you think that we couldn't make stuff unless we were worshiping something, then you don't quite understand the depths of which art actually comes from. And also, there's a lot of religious art that were made by people who were not religious. Even back in the day. They got paid to do it. Why would you say no to a fat paycheck from one of the richest organizations in the known world? So, that's just my take on that. Do I think there shouldn't be religion? Not necessarily. I would call myself an apatheist. I don't care about what you worship and all that stuff. I used to be extremely religious and fundamentalist Christian. I'm not that anymore, but I understand the value of religion that it has for people. That's not what I want. There we go. And I would not want to take that away from anybody. So, if it brings some kind of joy, comfort, meaning, then why would I want to take that away from anybody? That's it. Serious talk over. Now let's talk about these legs. Which I'm pretty sure I'm making his legs way bulkier than they should be. But like I said, I like muscles. I like them on men, I like them on women, I like mooses. Trying to translate paint strokes to lines is a little more difficult than you would think. I mean, I have loads of experience doing that, so it's not that difficult for me, but sometimes it's like, what am I looking at? Though it does also help that I've learned how to do actual painting, like digital painting, so I am able to use what information I've learned from doing that with this, but still. Sometimes my brain hurts. This is definitely not going to be a one-for-one recreation. I mean, again, for other reasons. Yeah, it's just going to be a close summation, essentially. Okay, so this is actually being affected by that. You keep that in mind. The cue here. basically does this. Spreads from a bowl and then curls up. Something like that. I'm trying to be more active in my thought process, and by that I mean talking about my thought process. One, it might actually be beneficial for me in just thinking, but also it gives you guys something to listen to besides just the music. That's definitely not the same, but we'll deal with that. It's good enough for now. Something's off about the legs. I mean, they're thick as hell, for one. But we're not changing that. I think the thighs might be too short. There's a lot of issues. Like if I was being graded on how accurate I was making this, I would not get a good grade. That's for sure. But fortunately, that's not the point. But I like to at least be somewhat accurate. Ooh. There's one thing I've kind of noticed that a lot of knees tend to look like. It's like a weird mask. Like a, oh, or like in this angle, a shoe. Hershey, stop that. Such an asshole. And something like that. This is those times when I kind of wish that I've done work for foot fetishes, because then I would know how to draw foots. But I don't, not really. I'm really bad at drawing fetuses. Oh yeah. Oh, next is straight in. Let me check something real quick. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I clicked on the same thing twice. No. Trying to click on different things. It's usually the idea when we're checking several things. I am surprised on the view count for my gaming streams, because I was not barely getting any views, and now I can get like a couple dozen, which is still not a whole lot, but that's way more than it used to be. So cool. I don't ever want to go back to what I used to do. If you look at my old stuff, like 11 years old now, I went pretty hard into the Let's Play stuff and not so much in the drawing stuff. And that didn't quite go so well. But, you know, Let's Plays were still big at that time. I don't think Let's Plays have really fallen off so much as they've kind of just changed. But yeah, that did not go well. So even though the views are steadily increasing with the gaming stuff, I still want to have this channel be half gaming stuff, half art, and 90% Major Phee. I'm also wondering if I should change my profile picture or my banner to something Major Phee related. Like, yes, I have an obsession. It's a problem. I know. I get it. But it's Major Phee, though. Whatever. Yeah, so like the things that I need to work on for the channel and the stream. Jesus Christ, that's a big ass ankle. That's a cankle right there. We're gonna do this. Hold on, I gotta do this first. That was bad. Okay, we'll mess with that later. Oh, that was ridiculous. So things that I need to work on, like for streams and stuff like that. I need to make a new intro thingy, like the soonly starting. I need to make a new one of that, and I need to make a new ending screen, which that one won't be so hard. It's not gonna be too different than what we have now, but I still need to make some changes to that. If I do change the banner, I'm going to change it to a remake of the Message of Love piece I made with Phee, because I want to remake that anyway. It's like, this is that piece. I want to remake it because I draw her fairly differently now. This was like early on in having her. Where's it at? Here it is. So definitely need to work on that. And God, I need to catch up on the Major Phee questions. I am so behind on that, it's ridiculous. But yeah, there's some other things, but I can't remember. Oh well. You know what? I'm going to not work on down here. I'm going to work on up here. Because I know how to draw hands better than I know how to draw footses. I should probably... No, go back. Should probably still base the hand pose on the OG. Dick. Essentially. Then, like a grape that's currently being squished. Essentially like that. Here's another thing that another thing. My brain was continuing a conversation that never happened. Here's the thing that a lot of artists, especially 3D artists, do that I believe is a very much a mistake. So when people draw hands, they'll do like this stuff, which is fine to do. But the problem with doing it like this is that you're placing the knuckles outside of the actual hand. Where what really should be happening is that it should be more like this. Because when you bend, you're gonna end up having like either an angle, like basically if they're up here and then you try to do, especially like this happens a lot in a lot of 3D stuff, and it always bothered me when you go to bend and your knuckles are up here. Essentially the hand stretches like that in order to kind of compensate, so it looks weird, and like because like the hand does not basically enclose in on itself, it encloses around itself, which sounds weird, but it's the only way I can really describe it. And then the same thing happens. I still do this sometimes, so I'm not perfect with this, but I try to catch myself anytime I do it. Ooh. Hold on, falling apart. Okay. Man, I'm bored with my own stream. What? But yeah, so like when you're drawing the hand, and then you have it where the knuckles are up here, but you having them not being just straight out or anything like that, because this can be fine having them up here. If the fingers are kind of just sticking straight out, like with a concept sheet or something like that, or a T-pose or whatever. But if you're gonna have them be actual like bending and stuff, need to take into the consideration that they are actually bending inside the hand first, because that's where the knuckles actually are located. A little tangent, but that just came to mind because I'm about to draw the hands. Like a great thing to think about is like the knuckles are balls inside little sockets. That's a great way to think about it. What was that about? Hey, we found some jobs that you might be interested. Check them out. Oh, you need to have years of experience to get into this entry-level job. What? That's what that alert sound was for. I got an email from one of those recruiter sites. It was like, yep, cool. Been getting a lot for jobs where like, well, you need to have at least 1 year of experience in this one thing you've never heard of. It's like, okay, cool. That's fun. I enjoy that. One thing I'm always terrified of whenever I'm like talking about how to draw and stuff is that I will talk about something and then I go to draw, and then I have no idea how to draw that thing, or it's just not coming across properly. And then I look like I don't know what I'm talking about, which most of the time I don't really. I just think I do, and I like to hope that I do. What? I don't know. I'm mostly self-taught, so I'm pretty much just do things until I think they work. Yeah, this hand's not looking right. Yeah, I went on about drawing hands, and now apparently I don't know how to draw hands anymore. First, let's angle it a bit more. Yeah, I think that's fine. Looks a little bit better. I don't like separation on that. Yeah, that's better. I know there's actually that's actually closer to the original. Okay. I was not reading it entirely wrong. So that's good. I do know what I'm doing. I am a real boy. They're so good. So it's one of those weird things where, like, I know what I'm talking about in a lot of cases because the things I talk about are like that's how things work. That's what a lot of professionals do. That's where I learned. I think it's more of a problem of trying to actually like having an understanding of how things work and being able to implement them is not necessarily the same thing. Like, I understand how this math problem works. I don't know how to do it, though. Kind of thing. I've felt that a lot with, like, drawing faces. Like, I like the way I draw faces, but of course I do. I'm a little biased in that. But sometimes I don't like the way I draw faces. Most of the time, what I do is I try to simplify things. A lot of times because I don't understand a lot of the ones like how people measure where to put the face for proportions and stuff like that. It's like, okay, I don't like doing lockstep type of thing, like type of stuff with that, because with the way that my brain works, all faces would look exactly the same. And I already have a problem with the faces looking similar. So, that's not helpful. But also, it's so many steps with that I'm just like, I just want to make the drawing. I feel like I already do a lot of steps with it. So essentially, like, there's probably like an established thing with this, but the thing that I like to do when I'm drawing, when I'm going to be structuring stuff and all that, is just go with a halfway rule. So like I make the circle and then I decide where like the jaw line's gonna be and stuff, and I make the head and all that, and to figure out where the proportions are, like I try to do halfway between the chin and the top of the head. That's the eye line. Now you these are, I'll just go through them. And then between the eye line and the chin, that's the nose. Between the nose line and the chin, that's the mouth. And then like between the eyes and the top of the head, that's the like hairline. This is this is exactly where you put the things. This is generally where you put the things. Because the thing, to me, proportions are not based on measurements, but it's based on how it overall looks. Because nobody's symmetrical for one. And everyone has like variations throughout their face. So I feel like it makes it look more natural if you do it like that. And it's also way easier, like, okay, I know this is where the eyes are going to be, this is where the nose is going to be, so no, this is where the mouth is going to be, this is where the hairline is going to be. Okay. I just knocked out all those proportion things out real quick. And then, like, one thing that's always good to keep in mind is, like, when you draw your nose, especially if you do it like this, just try to keep the inside of your eyes pretty much like that. And then, like, with the mouth, I mean, if you have, like, a neutral mouth position type of thing, a kind of good rule of thumb is, like, once you make the eyes, like, halfway through between the eyes, you make it go down. And then that's about as wide as your mouth should be. And that's it with, like, neutral, relaxed face. So, And those are, again, those are basically rules of thumb the way I treat them. Uh, oh, hello, uh, Murder Colo. How is you? Are you an actual person? You must be. You haven't said, hey, buy views. And that would make you the very first person to actually say something. No, no, wait, no. There was that one guy who hasn't been here for quite a while. I totally forgot about him. But you're the second one. Well, yeah, I hope your Monday is going well. Hope you have a decent week planned. Yeah, how dare you not be the first? Go back and do it again. Wait a minute, that's not how that works. I've just had so many of those spam bots coming in into the chat on Kick that uh like I almost forgot that real people use the site. Oh, okay. I will try to speak a little slower because as someone who's lived in another country and I still don't know the language, I understand that people talking fast makes it harder to keep up with it. Of course, that could just be me because I do have what's called auditory processing disorder. But yeah, I understand the difficulties of trying to understand a language that is not your first one. Okay, I'm already loving this expression. It looks so dumb. Oh god, this is why I wanted to do this drawing. It's so dumb. It makes me giggle. I'm Turkish, by the way. I actually understand a little bit, but sometimes I forget to understand when spoken too fast. Yeah, that's why I like I can barely do English. I try to slow down when I know that the person who I'm talking to has to translate what I'm saying uh, in order to be in the conversation. Uh, it's a thing that I've seen with people who try to speak like someone who does not speak English originally. Uh, tries to speak English. They almost always try to do it super fast, which then putting the really thick accent on top makes it very difficult for anybody to communicate. So, and I've had to deal with a lot of people like that. So, of course, when I start to speak slower to them, I think it kind of lowers their anxiety which is probably why they're speaking fast to begin with. But yeah, communication is really important to me, so I try to do my best to make it basically streamlined or as easy and effortless as possible. So, yeah. But I am happy that you are here, and I'm glad that I will remain happy if you stick around and give a follow and all that stuff. You might be the most kind-hearted broadcaster I've ever seen. Well, I appreciate that. I'm still trying to get used to taking compliments. so thank you. My brain shut off. Hold on. Wow, that was... We're just gonna go back to drawing. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything, like when it comes to art or when it comes to things like my character Major Phee, who is kind of all over the screen, or just questions in general, that's what I'm here for. What are you drawing right now? I am drawing... Oop, hold on. So, I'm drawing the famous Michelangelo painting, The Creation of Adam, where God and Adam are about to touch fingers. But instead, I replaced Adam with my character Major Phee because I have an obsession with her. And so I'm having a lot of fun with this because of how stupid it is. I thoroughly enjoy stupid things. But like silly kind of stupid. So, yeah, this piece is, instead of it being called The Creation of Adam, this is actually called The Execution of God. Because if I'm gonna be blasphemous, might as well go all the way. Which, this is not even the most blasphemous thing that I'm planning on making, hopefully this year. And I really want to get started on this year. But I might not be able to. So the other thing that I'm wanting to do, So I started a series last year called Classical Nightmares. And what it is I take famous paintings, famous classic paintings. Ugh. I'm all gassy. Hold on. Ugh. And I turn them into horrifying nightmares because I love horror. Yes, I am using Clip Studio. Where is it? Here it is. And then here. So I've done 2 pieces in the series so far. I did the girl with the pearl earrings. So this one. And pretty happy with how this turned out. Oddly enough, the part I'm most proud of is how close her headpiece is to the actual painting. Like, still very different, but I think I got pretty close. So, out of all this, that's what I'm most proud of. And then I did Scream by Edvard Munch. Right here. And so here's the original. Pretty happy with how this turned out. I decided with this one, instead of doing a like recreation with a horror twist, I was just gonna make this kind of more of my own kind of piece, but like still based off of the original. So, yeah. But I like how this one turned out. This was actually me testing out a new brush. Well, a default brush, but new to me. And I like how it gives me the kind of similar textures as the original piece. Although I think this version of the original is one of the ones that was in crayon. But yeah, this one looks really good too. You're a really good artist. Thank you. I have been doing art for quite a while. Like I've been doing like drawing stuff for 25 years now, and I've been technically a professional artist for about 16 years. And I say technically because that's when I started to get paid every now and then for artwork. And that was back in 2009. But I need to do a horror piece with Major Phee. Of course, I will be doing one with her soon enough once I get done with writing her origin book, and I get to the false god arc, which I'm super excited for, because there's lots of horror stuff with that one. So eventually I'll be drawing horror with her. But it is not this day. I try as much as I can to see the good in the horrible. And in my drawings, I want to emphasize that what looks horrible actually has more good in it. Right now, my drawings are not that good. Well, your drawings, even from not seeing them, your drawings are as good as they should be now. Let me try to find. Let's see. Actually, it will be here. Scroll, 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 scroll. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Did I go past it? Nope, it's in a different spot. Love, hooked on a feeling. Here we go. So, this is an OC of mine. I drew this like in 2010. This looks terrible. Based on what I can do now. But at the time, this was the best I could make. So, your art does not look terrible. It looks as good as it should be now. And I say that because a journey every day means that wherever you are, that when you wake up on that journey that day is where you should be on that journey. Just as long as tomorrow you're in a different place. It's how I've viewed it. It's how I've tried to explain it to my students. Because I do teach art. Not as a teacher or anything. I'm essentially an instructor. But it's stuff like that I've dealt with. I've dealt with students not appreciating themselves. So you say the more I dig, the more valuable minerals I uncover. That's a good way to put it. The way that I tend to put it on how the journey for art or any skill really how it works is that, but we'll stick with art. So the journey, so basically art or doing art, making art, stuff like that is like trying to build a ladder to the moon and you only have toothpicks. It's going to take a really long time to progress, but one day you'll turn around and you'll be shocked at how far you've come. That's why I love to do remakes of my own stuff, because it really shows a difference and an improvement. And it's a lot of fun to do anyway. Oh, I just cannot stop burping. I'm so gross. Let's see. So here's a decent example of that. So I made this piece back in like 2020, 2021. So I made this in Krita. And so yeah, I think it was like 2020 or 2021. And looks pretty cool. I like it. I actually was inspired to make this from an image that was used for a song on YouTube. So you know, the ones where like the picture kind of moves based on the beat of the song, and it was some creature that like mouth was gaping open and lots of teeth, and I was like, hey, I like to draw teeth, I should do that. And then I did a remake of it back in 2023. Here we go. Where are you at? Yeah, in 2023. Yeah, we can actually see a comparison right here. I'm really fired up now, and I feel like sitting down and drawing until the morning, and I think I will. Hell yeah. We'd love to hear that. If you are on Twitter or X, or Blue Sky, if you give me a follow so I can see your stuff, I would love to. I love looking at people's stuff. I love looking at people's drawings. I need to start doing a segment where I look at people's drawings during the stream, because I just like to look at stuff. But oh yeah, this is just a 2 or 3 year difference between these two. But you can see there's a big improvement in between them. So I try to explain that to my students. What was that? Okay. First, let me double check to make sure I have added. Where are you at? There you are. Do I have a thingy? No, I don't. Well, shit. That. Okay. Are you on Twitter or Blue Sky? By the way, I've only been seriously drawing for 1 year. That's fine. Use Instagram. Oh, that works too. Let me grab. Probably should have added my Instagram on there too. Oh well. Actually, which I can't remember exactly, because I've had an Instagram for a long time. Okay, I think it's the one. Yes, it is. Okay. First, let me add one here. Did that save? There we go. Okay. God damn it. Hold on. Where? Okay, there's my Instagram. And if you want to, I'm using it more. So I am good. I am posting stuff on there more now. So you will see some more of my stuff on there. But yeah, if you want to like follow me, add me, whatever Instagram calls it. Okay. And then I can check out your stuff. You can check out my stuff. We can just check out stuff together. should probably get back to drawing. It's been a minute since I'm drawing. Yay! I'm very curious, so I'm gonna go ahead. Also, follow me on Kick so that you can catch later streams. If you were enjoying this stream. If you're not really enjoying the stream, I'm surprised you're still here. Oh. I can see that. Is it okay for me to show your Instagram on stream? Oh, be right back. Okay. My thumb popped when I waved my hand around. Why? Why is my body so old? I think it's done. Okay, cool. Yeah, so is it okay for me to show your Instagram on stream? I feel like it's obvious what the answer would be, but apparently some people post their artwork and don't want people to see it. So I don't understand that, but okay. Okay, I thought so. Okay. Be able to see this. Yes. Just extend this down. There we go. So, first impression, I'm impressed. For someone who has been doing art seriously for a year, you have certainly learned a lot. Like scrolling through here, I can see the progress with stuff. So yeah. You know, like with this, I feel like you have a pretty good starting grasp on a lot of things. One thing that even I have to work on this, so don't feel too bad. Anatomy is something that you can definitely improve on. Not saying it's bad now, I'm saying you can definitely improve on that. But I like the monster stuff. I like the sketchiness of this. It looks a lot like you're just trying things and having fun with it, which is good. See, Beer Chugger on YouTube thinks this shit's cool. And if they like it, then it's obviously fantastic. Try and find your own style. Yeah, that will come in time. I really like how this looks. Hello, kitty. That was Angela. So what I always tell people who are searching or trying to find their style is don't worry about that. What you should do is just learn how to improve. One of the styles that I feel like, especially if you want to do like character design and stuff, it's not something you have to master. It's something that you should at least do some studying into, because I firmly believe that it will make a huge difference in your artwork. Is to study realism. Again, don't have to master, but if you can get some of the fundamentals down, then that will make a huge difference in your character designs and everything like that. That is, I always recommend doing that as a foundation in order to develop your own voice with your art. The way that I went about that might not be the best way for anybody else, but I'll just say how I did it. I just took, I looked at other people's artwork, looked at their styles, looked at comics, and looked at cartoon shows and all sorts of stuff. And I just cherry picked different things that I liked, especially when it came to looking up tutorials. I would look up a lot of tutorials and look at how they do things like drawing a nose or something. And I'd be like, okay, I like the way they do that. let me try to do that. And so then I would practice it for a bit. And by practicing it, I mean I would implement that style into my process just to see how much of a difference that would make. If it didn't work out too great, um I just like, okay, maybe I should find something else. If I really liked it, I would just keep it. Um but you just do that with a bunch of things, and um then essentially what you're doing is you're taking things that you like and you're putting it into your style, because your style is essentially a pot of stew. You've got to add some ingredients into it in order to make it your stew. But you don't just put carrots in it, because then all you're eating are just wet carrots. You got to add all sorts of different things. So you just do that because your own mental process is what kind of filters it until you got your style. It takes years. It can take up to decades, and for some people. But you just do that. Also, do it in a way that makes it fun. I cannot do studies to save my life in the traditional sense. Uh, so, I mean, a great study that I try to do sometimes is take a photo and draw the photo. Um, I'm not a big fan of tracing. I understand that it helps some people, and if it helps you, great. I'm not a big fan of tracing because this might also just be a personal thing, but I like to practice using my eyes. Um, so if I can look at something and be able to translate that onto my canvas, then I feel like that's more beneficial than just drawing over a picture or a drawing or something like that. Because I feel like it's limited. It's not wrong. It's not bad. I just feel like it's limited. But that's me. I prefer to do things more difficult because that's how I learn. Um, but ooh, ooh, I love these. The triangles thing. That's an interesting way to go about it. Gotta love that process of like, oh, let's do. No, that's not gonna work. Oh, nope, that's not gonna work. Gotta love that process. And then eventually, like, I screw it. We're gonna just go on. Okay. That uh, time lapses and stuff. Uh, is one of the things that I used a lot to learn how to draw and to really learn people's process. I just watch them over and over and over, maybe slow them down if they're going extra fast. Um, because I learn a lot more easily through example. Okay. Thought I missed the coloring part. Nope, the coloring part's that's not there. Okay. um Murdo, if you go to my YouTube channel, which there should be a link there on Kick, I have a playlist. If you like time lapses, I have a playlist of time lapses that I've made since 2011. I have like 109, I think, time lapses on there. I'm also streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So, if you like to be on Kick, cool. If you would rather be on those other sites, cool. Hello, it's me again. Hello, me. It's me again. How is you? Okay. We were looking at someone's artwork because I love looking at people's artwork. and then we just see this face is like, oh god. I forgot this is what I was working on. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mustafa, how are you doing? I like just taking my time with the this part of drawing. I can't wait to draw everybody's reactions to a gun being pointed at God. Oh, man. By the way, thank you very much for your time. Well, that's what I'm here for. If people have questions, I try to answer them as best I can. If people want me to look at art, I will not say no to that. So, yeah. And if there's anything you want me to try to like give you tips on or go over, I'm totally down with that as well. I am here to help everyone else with their artistic journey in ways that I never got. So, I'd like to be that difference for people. Oh my gosh. I'm drawing this peak-ass drawing of Gogeta prepping the Kamehameha right now, but I cannot for the life of me get the second hand right. I might crash the fuck out. Oh no! Oh man, I know how that is. From now on, when I want to improve my English and watch good art, I will definitely come to the stream. Oh hell yeah. Improve English, I might not be the best source. I still struggle with English, and it's my only language. So, but good luck with that. I can't read. I can barely talk. And yet I'm an author. So oh man, why do I do this to myself? Anyway. Also, Beer Chugger, have you posted any like whips on pixel art? Because if it's I would love to see him. Because what you described, I'm interested. Plenty of whips. All hail yeah. Got okay. Another detour. Just to go here. Oh, there you are. Yeah, Beer Chugger, your style reminds me of like a much better version of my style back in like late high school, early college. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm saying it as a good thing. Okay. I was looking at this one you posted about almost a full day ago. It's just called Work in Progress. And I got confused because I was like, why does this person have 6 fingers? And then I realized that's the thumb in the back. Never mind. I realized, oh wait, it's darker. Never mind. See, I can't read, nor can I read pictures. So, that's a problem. What am I doing? I don't know. Where are we? What is life? It'll be more obvious when I'm done. I would hope so. I don't have this ability to read drawings yet. If you're able to look at a picture and know what you're looking at, that's essentially reading drawings. And I'm not a clever man. So I tend to struggle. Struggle. But yeah, I do like Beer Chugger. I do like how that hand's looking. I feel like the ring finger and the middle finger need to be closer together. And I think the way... That's just based off of the lip picture. I don't know if it's completely different now. But I think the way that you can really make them closer to look better is that the ring finger, so the one next to the pinky, the base of it needs to be widened. but widen to where it's just closer to the middle finger. I feel like there's too big of a gap between those knuckles. But other than that, I'd say it's looking pretty good. I can like do a quick drawing to show you what I mean. Like, it's no problem. I'm gonna be working on this piece for a while, so I'm in no rush on this piece. You know what? I'm in a teaching mood. So essentially what I'm talking about is that this, the way you have the hand like here, so basically what needs to be done is that this needs to go extend this way. And then this actually should probably just be going down like that. Should probably put on a separate layer to do this better. But yeah, so having the knuckle essentially being more like over here. Because the knuckles need to be, are essentially right next to each other without bumping into each other. So one thing that I started doing more recently, especially like from learning, like I think it finally clicked for me when I did my drawing challenge in May, when drawing hands and fingers, to really utilize the circles, but doing it like one by one, like one layer at a time. I'm gonna do this. Started being more deliberate with these curves here, so that I would be less likely to get confused on like which direction the fingers are going. Just doing this a little bit for the pinky tip. Just kind of hyperextending that a little bit, but I feel like it gives it a little bit more to do it like that. And one thing that's helped me with drawing the fingers is that you have cylinders for the most part with each phalange, which is each bone in the finger. And then for the fingertips, that last phalange, I imagine them more in like the shape of either a thimble, because a thimble is actually supposed to be shaped with your finger, or like a bullet, like a rounded bullet. And then we've got the thumb here, which, I mean, with the energy thing here, thumb would actually, I think the thumb would be more like going in this direction. And then down. So kind of doing the same thing. So the thumb might actually either we might not actually see it behind the hand and fingers, or what we might do is have it come up a little bit so that we just see the top of it. But as of what you got right now is you have it going essentially straight down into the energy ball, which just kind of, to me, kind of looks off. So it might be better to actually either have it go in more of this direction or going more like this. But yeah, other than that, I know that there's not a whole lot else to really look at here, but I really felt like that needed to actually show what I was talking about with that. So yeah, that's one. I still need to make a thing. Somebody asked me how to break down hands, and this is essentially it. But I need to make like an actual study sheet for that. I keep forgetting to do it. I have a lot going on. But yeah, I'm super excited on how this is going to turn out. I can't wait to see it. Yeah, we'll save it. Actually, hold on. I might just clip this out. I'm gonna have to download this from YouTube or something. But I might just actually clip this segment out and then post it so that.
I'm so much gas. Oh my.
But yeah, I don't know. I just really felt like I should hallucinate. And the word is actually hallucidate. But I like to say hallucinate. I find that more amusing. I think I'll try this draw hands. It's the best way that I've figured out. How to draw hands. So like, essentially a hand is this shape, generally speaking. I mean, it'll just be that. It's kind of a square. But then like, you got your thumb here. You got your knuckles here. Now, one way to think about it is that you just do lines for each phalange and then a circle for each knuckle. Sometimes I do it like this. This is actually how I taught an 8-year-old how to draw hands. And she actually got really good at drawing hands with doing it this way. It's probably the proudest moment of my life. But yeah, you can do like this. This is essentially like the skeleton version. And then you can put shapes on top of that. But it does take a lot of practice. Because hands are kind of complicated and weird. And stupid. But... but yeah. So also, quick reminder to everybody. I am going to be streaming... I'm changing my streaming schedule. I will be streaming every Friday through Monday. And so... Friday and Sunday are gaming streams. I think Friday we will be doing Anna Bring Dream Barbecue. We'll probably do that on Friday. And Sunday we'll continue the Fallout New Vegas hardcore run and see how terrible that goes and see if the game crashes again. I'm actually not really looking forward to it right now. But then on Saturdays and Mondays, we will be doing art streams. And I'll be working on this piece probably up to a point. And I say that because there's some nudity in the actual piece. And I'm not going to draw the nudity. But I don't know. I got other things I can work on. So your streams are really dangerous. I got so caught up in that I forgot I had a job. Oh no. You better go to job. I will try to come to the next streams. Well, I hope so, because I love having people here. Eventually, I'd like to get to the point to where I can make some money from it, but I'd rather have people here to talk to more than to make money off of. That's the whole reason why I started streaming back in 2009, was that I wanted to hang out with people. And that's never changed. Now, I'd like to make money from it, like I said. Who doesn't? But if I just have like a handful of people here that I get to hang out with, it's totally worth it to me. Ah, water.
Drink plenty of water over the next 24 hours.
You better do what he says. That man was a crackpot doctor, so he knows what he's talking about. Over on Twitch, I'm trying to get some other bots for the other platforms, but on Twitch, I have a a bot that has a bunch of sound clips where you just, when you type in certain words, an audio thing will pop up. And that's what that was. I've got a bunch of them. I'm gonna be, like I said, getting some other bots so I can do it in the other chats. But you heading out, Murdo? Okay. I'm glad that you were here. I'm glad that I got to see some of your artwork, and I'm glad that I got to be of some help. And hopefully we will see you Friday. Hey, Jazz. You are late. How dare you? You owe me a pizza. Those are the rules. I don't make them. But yeah, we're working on this piece. We've made some progress. I also did some drawing lessons. And we looked at somebody's artwork. All right, I'll accept that. But you better watch it next time. Ugh. Oh. Why am I so gassy from water? What the hell is this? Oh yeah, how are you, Jazz? What's your plans for the week? Thinking of ways to spend my vacation so I can leave my job. That's a mood. I mean, what better way to spend your vacation than at my streams? Ah. Yeah, even I wouldn't want to do that.
look too bad.
Yeah, we as opposed to Saturday, we're actually doing shit. Saturday did like not much happened, but that was mostly because I was yapping a whole lot, um, which is fine. Um, yeah, I'm surprised at how much I've gotten done tonight. Because, like I said, uh, I did I did a little hand tutorial thing. Technically, I did two. Um, we looked at somebody's Instagram gallery. I feel weird for praising it because I'm still a Christian. Great art nonetheless. Yeah. Oh, just wait till I continue. I do my next piece for my classical nightmares series. Um, I might actually get some flack from it, but I'm gonna do it because I genuinely love the idea. Um, but essentially, because I've shown you like the two pieces I did for that series, right? The girl with the pearls and um, Scream by Edvard Munch. For sure, I've shown you those. Okay, yeah. So yeah. So you know the premise of that. Well, the next piece I'm gonna do, I actually meant to get started on it in January, but then someone showed up in my life, and I haven't been able to get to it. Uh, but the next piece I'm gonna do is the Last Supper, and that one's gonna be fun. That one's gonna be probably 100 to 200 hours piece, but I'd really like to do it. But someone in my life is kind of hogging all my attention. So eventually we'll get to it though. Oh yeah, sure. I mean, she takes up as much of my time as a girlfriend would, so yeah, we can classify it that way. Nah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody would want to hook up with this. You know, I look at paintings and stuff, and it just makes me think about the fact that people always accuse digital artists of just like, oh, you just have the computer make it for you. It's like, you do realize that the brush makes it for you. Like, the hair textures rely 100% on the brush itself. Literally all Michael did with a lot of this hair was that he just went like that. That's all he did. And then like he added a few more things there, and then that was it. So because like with this angel's hair, this cherub's hair, whatever, this is basically what it looks like. Oh yeah. I wish we could go back, considering what we have to deal with now. Yeah. Yeah. Although the problem with now is that so much of understanding via discourse has been eroded to the point to where nothing can stick. I think that's the main reason why what we're dealing with now is such an issue. Because thought processing has been removed from the vast majority of people. Not like a whole lot of them had it anyway, but it's been removed from a lot more of them. And it's kind of sad. But it's something we just gotta. I mean, we still had plenty of that back then with those arguments, but now it's just like it's so prevalent of like just the lack of actually thinking about stuff. It's just so prevalent just because everybody thinks that they have all the answers, which clearly not, because I'm the one that has all the answers. But that's besides the point. And it's not helped by the fact that there's a lot of people who develop things for digital artists to where it is only a maximum of 2 steps away from AI art. And I'm like, dude, you're not helping anybody with this. Yeah, Gen Z, aka my generation, poisoned the well, or me generation, poisoned the well of debate. It's literally agree or fight. I feel like the ones that really pushed that boulder to get it going down the hill were millennials. But a big not like the reason, but a big reason for that was because of being taught by Gen X. Because who were the teachers when we were growing up and going to college and stuff? Gen X. Some boomers, but mostly Gen X. So it's like, a lot of the stupid ideas came. We got a lot of dumb ideas from older generations, and then we kind of made them worse. And then the next generation really went crazy with it. So, yeah, kind of a group effort here. I work with the most stereotype boomer. Like, oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh no, you poor thing. My condolences. God damn. Yeah, I'm trying to think about like my first job. I mostly worked with Gen X and a couple boomers. And then after that was mostly millennials who worked for a boomer. And then after that was millennials, almost strictly millennials. And then after that was a lot, mostly Gen X. And then my last job, I worked with a lot. I worked for a boomer, a lot of Gen X, and then I worked with a lot of Gen Z. And there's like only one other person that was from my generation. Trying to think about. So, like from my experience working with Gen Z, they're very much a mixed bag. Though stereotypes are prevalent in nearly all of them. Like every single one that I worked with has literally no financial literacy. And I have hardly any. So that's saying something. But mainly what I mean by that is they don't understand how money should work. Because all the ones that I worked with, we're working part-time jobs. And they're just like, man, I just don't have any money. I'm like, well, one, you're working a part-time job. Two, you're in college.
You're not supposed to have money. um, but 3, you do get money. You just spend it all like right away. Because they would, every single one of them would be getting DoorDash every single shift. And so their DoorDash orders would be between $20 and $50. And I think Gen Z will know what literacy is. I feel like that's like, well, with how the numbers are going, Gen Alpha's absolutely screwed. But yeah, so like basically our checks were every 2 weeks we would get a check of about $550 thereabouts. And so then that's every 2 weeks. So about $275 a week is what we were making. No, $650. So about $325 a week is what we were making. And so they would have 4 shifts, and they would get DoorDash every single shift. So at a minimum, they were spending $80 a week on one meal per day. So that brings them down to $245. But then they have like all the other things that you need to pay for. Gas. A lot of them would have to pay for their phone. Stuff like that. So then you have all those things. But then they would always be going out to eat. Like after work or on the weekends or something. Or getting plastered every weekend. And so then that would be like, I think on average they would do that at least 3 times a week. And that was always like a minimum of $25. So 75 on 80, you're already looking at $155. And so 155 out of 325. But then they also, like, before every shift would go and get $10 coffees. So that's another $40. So now we're getting close to $200, and that's just on them not even eating every meal. And that's over half of their paycheck. Every week. And then they would complain about not having money. I'm like, how about you just don't spend the money and only spend it on things you need? Like, that's how I had to learn that quick when I moved out on my own. I went from making pretty decent money to suddenly not making hardly any money, and I had to make some big changes quick. So now I can live pretty comfortably on well below poverty line. And I've lucked out a lot with certain things. But generally speaking, like, I just know how to budget like pretty crazy good. But I also, most of that comes from me just considering the fact that I don't need a lot of things. Would they be nice to have? Yeah. But I don't really need them. Like, I don't need subscription services. There are plenty of ways to find things for free. And I shop at Aldi, so save a lot of money there. Well, yeah, the economy is shot, but the way people live, especially younger people, isn't helping. Yeah, I think most of it is because people just don't. I feel like most of them turn their brains off when they go grocery shopping, or when they go shopping in general, really. Uh, like everybody wants to get name brand stuff, which I get it. Some name brand is just superior, taste wise and everything. Things like mac and cheese, you don't get the knockoffs. I made that mistake, and I'm still processing that. And that was a decade ago. Oh god, that was horrible. Shadow, I'm at Aldi. Also, so many people, like hardly anybody cooks. And a lot of excuses is like, well, I don't have time to cook. It's like, do you have a microwave? Is there a dollar store of any variety within driving distance? They have decent stuff that you can eat for like $1.25. Go there, get a bunch of stuff, and you can cook. And it's like microwave stuff. Is it super healthy? No, but it's dirt cheap and it'll make you live. Also, soda's a big thing. I had a horrible soda addiction. I was probably drinking about 3 to 8 2 liters of soda every week. And like nowadays, that would be like, if I wasn't so like focused on cost and stuff and really frugal, what, that's like $2.50, $3 per bottle, quote unquote cooking. Hey, if the food is getting heated up, that's technically cooking. Another thing that people seem to refuse to do is just make sandwiches. Sandwiches are super cheap to make. Not when I make them, because I'm a fat ass. But sandwiches are super cheap to make. Especially if you make like peanut butter and jelly. Which, like anybody who knocks peanut butter and jelly, you're just wrong. Objectively speaking. And scientifically speaking, you're just wrong. But like a jar of peanut butter costs you can cost you around $4. A jar of jelly can cost about $2 or $3. A loaf of bread can cost about $2. So that's like under $10. We'll say $10, like rounding up after tax. So $10. That may sound like a lot of money for that much stuff, but those 3 things will give you 1 sandwich a day for at least 2 weeks. Well, for most people, it'll probably be 3 weeks. Well, 2 loaves of bread. That'll give you 3 weeks. Maybe 4. But that's like the only really limiting part. Mushroom sa? Fixing. Um, so like that gives you a meal. Is it a great meal? No. It's serviceable. And it gets you by. Mushroom and spam sandwich is good. I can see that being good. Spam is actually kind of expensive now. One of the meals that I make that's like, God, I'm poor type of meals, is I open up a can of tuna and then I put mustard in it and then I just eat that. Sometimes I put it on a piece of bread and I just have a tuna mustard sandwich. And I like it. It's definitely not like the meal of breakfast of kings, but you get like 30 grams of protein. You don't get any calories from the mustards, but you get salt. You get a little tiny bit of fiber, and some carbs from the bread. So like it's at least somewhat healthy. And there's hardly any calories. So just make like a couple of those. And cans of tuna, like especially if you go to places like Aldi, where you can get it for like 75 cents per can. Like I go and I just take an entire tray.
I take an entire case, like almost every time. That and beans. I love beans. Beans are great. Excellent source of fiber and protein, and pretty low in calories, and they're great with everything. Also, looking up recipes from the Great Depression, some of them you can actually make to be pretty good. Ugh. Well, yeah, there's a lot of ways you can save money on food. It's just that people just turn their brains off when they gotta go shopping. Like, just look up cheap recipes. Sadly, I can't eat beans, at least not all of them. I have a rare condition called G6PD. Okay. Trying to think of what that is. Oh. Glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. Dehydrogenase. Dehydronese. The soggy knees. Blood condition. It's more common in Africa and Asia or something. Okay. Oh, now I'm curious. It's a genetic disorder that affects red blood cells, which carry oxygen from the lungs to tissue throughout the body. In affected individuals, defect of an enzyme called glucose 6 causes red blood cells to break down prematurely. This destruction of red blood cells is called hemolysis. I think that's how it's pronounced. Hemolytic anemia. Okay. And beans affect that? Like certain beans? Some beans can affect it and cause anemia. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Although the kind of legumes that are not being mentioned, although you would definitely want to look into, are black beans and kidney beans. Those are the two that I usually get. I love black beans. And those, as far as I can tell, black beans and like kidney beans and stuff like that are some of the cheapest beans you can get. It is a shame that lentils is one of the beans that you need to avoid. One of the legumes that you need to avoid, because those can be pretty good and those can be super cheap. But I would definitely, I mean, if you can have black beans, I would definitely have those be part of your diet, because those have, I saw a thing from a nutritionist about like black beans have something in them that's actually like a pretty good amount, and it's not just the protein and fiber. I can't remember what it was, but black beans are just great. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here because we've been going for 3 hours now. Oh, hello, P-Dink. How's it, Dinkers? I do eat baked beans and kidney beans, but I am careful of much else. Yeah, that's understandable. So yeah, tonight seemed to have gone pretty well. So we'll do another Monday stream next week, and it will be an art stream. Friday, I will be doing a gaming stream, and I will be playing Enna Dream Barbecue for the first time. So a blind playthrough of that. And then normal weekend schedule, and then back to Monday. So yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe. Blah 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 blah. But seriously, do those things if you did like the stream. Share your favorite segments, or like make some clips or something. Can you do my job for me? That'd be great. And I might have to skip the end of stream. I want to play it myself at some point. That's understandable. I've had a couple people tell me I should play it, so yeah, we'll do that on Fridays. We'll see how long that goes. But yeah. What else? I think that's about it. So, I don't know how to download it. It's on Steam. So, there you go. My brain just shut off. So, yeah. Kat, you're making it very hard to concentrate with you headbutting me. So yeah, with all that being said, I will see you guys next time.